Welcome to the Beauty Biz Show. I'm your host, Lori Crete, a career-loving esthetician and beauty entrepreneur on a mission to empower fellow estheticians. If you are a solo or small business owning esthetician and you enjoy this podcast and curious about how we can work together, visit beautybizclub.com for mentorship and essential business growth tools. If you're looking to boost your retail sales and elevate client care, check out my line of luxury spa wraps and headbands at spastar.net. Now, join me as I bring you inspirational messages from beauty industry experts and practical tips to help you achieve beauty biz success. Get ready for some serious beauty biz entertainment. Hey everybody, welcome to the Beauty Biz Show. I'm your host, Lori Crete, and today I'm here with my co-host, Lauren Natuno. Hi, Lauren.
Hello. I love doing these. I'm so happy to be here.
I was going to say the same exact thing. Our inbox has been flooded with people just appreciating these podcasts. And for me, I've been doing this since 2015. You have no idea how thrilled I am to talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
Ideas often. It's really fun.
And today really was like an impromptu podcast. We both were like, we have things that we want to chat about.
Yeah.
Let's chat about it.
I mean, it stemmed from a conversation. Lauren and I often do morning walk and talks. We're both walking and talking. And yesterday, I think we talked for a full hour. I walked longer than normal. And I go, why aren't we sharing these thoughts with our fellow estheticians? So here we are.
Here we are.
Why don't you tell everybody what happened with your day? And then I'm going to tell you what I've done and created since we hung up earlier this morning.
Okay. Well, I'm sure if you're listening and you're an esthetician, you have probably had what happened to me happen to you at some point. And just a reminder that it happens. It'll happen probably your whole career. But I woke up this morning, prepared for a fully booked day, and overnight, my whole afternoon just vanished, canceled, and, things going on, can't make it in, my kid's sick. And so I came in for one brow wax, and that's all I got today. So it's it's a tough feeling, but also you have to just these are just things you got to move through. So it happens every once in a while, and it's okay. I have other things I can do that'll still, help me grow. So
okay. So what was your very first reaction when you look at your phone and everyone cancels?
My very first reaction was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because it was just like, I don't know why it happens like this sometimes, but it's just a waterfall effect. It'll just be like one after the other. And then I woke up and I was like, you got to be kidding me. But they're all rescheduled for later this week. I'm going to see one of them Thursday, one of them Friday morning. And it was just a slower week in general. So I did have the flexibility to be able to work with their schedules. And I'm going to see them this week. And I still got the cancellation fee for today. So it's actually sort of a win-win. It's going to all work out in the end.
Yeah, if you can process it. And Saturday, I went in on a Saturday. We're going to talk about that later, but actually I'm going to wait and save that for later. So I'll tell you what I've blown up since I saw you last.
Okay.
Or last, I haven't seen you for a while. So we scheduled the podcast for this morning, and I go, I'm just going to run an errand. But I had mentioned to you yesterday when we were talking, my books are really slow right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I always step into being productive somehow when I am slow like this. That's what makes me feel sane. When I'm slow, I get productive. And I'm studying a new concept of mindset and manifestation. And I can't share that here today because I'm actually teaching it at the live event in October, which I'm still just counting my lucky stars. You're going to be there. But I don't know. I don't know if you're not. Even if we have to video you in, you're going to be there for a little bit.
I will. I want to be involved as much as I can.
So I know you have a lot going on, and we'll talk about that in another time. But so I went for my walk this morning, and I started this new manifestation technique that I'm going to be teaching. I got home, and three people, actually more than three, I think five this morning signed up for the live event. I went to Home Good. I went to get gas. And then my therapy is walking through Home Goods when it's hot here. It's like what I do for fun. I went in Home Goods, booked a facial with a random stranger. We were both looking at end tables. And she goes, "What are you getting those tables for?" And I said, "Oh, just a little space in my spa." She goes, "I need a facial. Can I have your card?" Boom, facial.
Nice. Those are the best.
Yes, I got home, and she just moved here from San Diego. And lovely, lovely human. I know she's going to be a BCA, a BCE. I'm just manifesting that. But then I go home, and I had 4 messages for clients wanting facials this week. When I tell you this summer has been so slow, I'm not joking. And now my week went from having 4 facials to a completely full schedule within like 2 hours. So when I first started mentoring and coaching, people used to pick on me, literally, because I believed in mindset and manifestation, and that really appalled some people. And now I think people are embracing it more. But for those of you out there listening in, I'm just going to tell you, standing in who I am, and it works. Now, you've been manifesting some pretty cool stuff. Do we have that on the notes to talk about later, or you're going to teach about that in Emerging Esthetician?
Yeah. I mean, I have been manifesting a lot of things. And, it's funny because when Lori talks to me about manifestation and to her audience, you guys listening, and to everybody in the Beauty Biz Club, you always say, it's a little woo woo, but I believe in this. I believe in manifestation. And I actually was listening to another podcast. I'll try to figure out which one it was for you, but they were saying that people think that manifestation and believe it and it will happen sort of thing is woo woo, but that it's just fact. It's just true that it can happen, that it's real. And so I really have been diving into that. And what do you know? It happened, and I
You're
manifested
manifesting
some
some
awesome stuff.
big stuff right now.
Yeah, life changes.
So I think that, I don't know, some people say there's now science behind it, like neuroscience behind it. I just know for me, it's a better place to be in my own head, in my own space, to navigate owning a business, which isn't always easy, right?
Yeah, it's not.
I guess we never even did our intro in case you're listening in for the first time. My name is Lori. I'm the founder of the Beauty Biz Club, which is really a business consulting entrepreneurial organization which provides support for business growth for estheticians. It's now award winning, which I'm very excited to say because I've been at it a long time till we were gifted these awards. I'm a 23-year career loving esthetician. I'm still in the treatment room every single week. It's how I teach and mentor through my personal experience and my love for the industry. You can find me on Instagram, Lori_Beauty Biz. And also we're going to start some YouTube stuff because we talk about things and I want you to see the visual of it. So that is Lori Crete, Beauty Biz Coach on YouTube. And Lauren, where can they find you?
My name is Lauren Natuno. It's funny when you said we didn't even do our introduction because I didn't even realize that, because this podcast with you, our unfiltered esthetician chat, is like my therapy. We just dive right in. But for those of you who might just be tuning into our fun chats, my name is Lauren Natuno. I am also an esthetician. I've been an esthetician 6 years. Lori has been my mentor, really long before then, but I own a small spa in Bozeman, Montana, and I also am the co-founder of something very special to me, Emerging Esthetician. It is what I would say a safe place for new estheticians who are diving into this crazy industry, and we've got lots of resources and trainings there for you to come into this industry feeling empowered and confident.
Also, when I got home, we got a new member into Emerging Estheticians, a paid membership person. And I'm like, woohoo, because that's really where we started talking yesterday about
Yeah.
emerging estheticians and the direction of this career path for people. We're going to talk more about that in a second. But also, one of the biggest things that's hitting my inbox after the show are the products that we talk about. So I said this morning, I called Lauren and I'm like, bring your favorite product right now. And I'll share mine. I have it here. So if you are watching on YouTube, you can see it. If not, I'll explain what it is. It's called Wrap Lash. Have you heard of it or seen it?
No.
Okay. I'm forever searching for two beauty products. One is an under eye concealer because if I don't have concealer on, I look like I've been punched in the face, both eyes. Always have since I was a kid, super dark circles. And a good mascara as an esthetician, right? I don't use steam, but still I find at the end of the day, we get kind of warm in our room and working with a lot of products. I can look like I'm heroin chic by the end of the day if I don't have a good mascara. This is $12 on Amazon. And I do have an Amazon store. You can Google, Lori Crete's Beauty Biz Secrets. I make $1.30 from that site. And I have spa beds and we have an emerging esthetician site, all the tools we use. I also have Live Beautifully Fines. And I put this in there. It's $12. It's the best mascara I've ever used in my whole entire life. So the reason I have that Amazon store is because I get asked so many times, where do I find this? Where do I get this? So it's just all in one place. You can look at my favorite things. But this Wrap Lash is a gorgeous product for $12. So that's my share today.
So is it easy to get off?
Well, I am obsessed with those Clinique. I also get those at Nordstrom Rack, the Clinique makeup wipes. I cut them into 4 and I never leave home without them. They're in my bathroom. So they're in the purple, like, I don't know, like foily wrap thing with the flip on the top. And I use those every night before I go to bed anyway, and it takes it off just fine.
Nice. My product, Lori, like she said, literally sent me this fast message this morning, said, bring your favorite product. And I actually have two. The one is just this new thing I've been doing almost a month, I think 32 days. And I'm sure the listeners have heard about this because it was a trend. And I hopped on this trend and I was like, I'm just going to try it. Have you ever heard of mouth taping?
Well, Jay just interviewed the guy who invented mouth taping on his podcast. It hasn't even dropped yet.
So I got influenced by the internet, as we all do sometimes, and I started mouth taping a month ago. And it's kind of weird to get used to, but when I say I have never in my life slept as good as I've been sleeping, I mean it. Like, it's the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I sleep incredibly. I wake up every morning feeling refreshed, and I think that it just like there's all kinds of benefits that you can look into, but it's just something I've been doing now for a month and I'm obsessed with. So I thought I'd throw it in here. And then my other product.
My big question is, do you have Sonny wearing those lip mouth tape yet?
No, and he also says that it's the most terrifying thing he's ever experienced in his life. Sonny, my sweet Sonny, is my better half. He's my partner. And your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, your anything, they probably will not enjoy the mouth taping as much as you, because it scares them in the middle of the night.
Put those on. Jay would have them on every single night if I brought him home. He blows through my beauty products faster than I do.
Sonny is like, he'll give it a go, and then within like 25 minutes he wants it off of his face. So he's not a fan, but I am a fan. And the second product that I want to talk about is, because not in this last episode, but maybe it was in our last episode that we did together, we were talking about products that just weren't quite there for us. And you had mentioned a lip oil. And it's funny because I've been trying the product that a product that I know you love, which is that Sorella Apothecary Avocado Oil Lip Hydrator. And it's funny to me because I would consider this a lip oil.
Okay, so maybe I'm just getting these really thin, bizarro lip oils because that to me feels more like a balm on my lips. And it is one of my favorite products. As a matter of
Yeah,
fact, that's what I gift my clients for their birthday.
it's incredible. It's one
Yeah.
of my favorite things that I've ever tried. And it tops, honestly, it's better than the ones that you hear about in mainstream media right now from, these big influencer celebrity makeup product brands. It's better. So
And that was a swag gift from our penthouse party, which I'm putting together another penthouse party, by the way. I'm
I
just going
think
to
you should.
have like a handful of estheticians that are so serious about becoming next level successful in a penthouse with a butler lunch.
Yeah. It's
That I
next
can't
level.
wait. Yeah. Just sitting in there makes you feel like you're powerful.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're loving the swag that was gifted.
You had great, great swag bags. Really great ones.
I think you know how much I love giving people gifts, and I team up with some awesome lines that do the same. Um, you want to step into our walk and talk from yesterday morning, the whole reason. Do you have somebody at your door?
Yep.
Do you want to go grab it?
Yeah, one moment.
Okay. We'll return to the episode after a quick message from our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by Spa Star Luxury Wraps and Headbands. Are you looking to add a little luxury to your beauty biz? Spa Star Wraps and Headbands are an amazing way to elevate the client experience and boost your retail sales. Here are the top 3 reasons Spa Star Wraps are estheticians' spa wear of choice. Number 1 is the fit. Spa Star Wraps are size inclusive with a unique design that accommodates sizes 0 to 18. The feel. There is nothing else like this on the market. Just imagine if bamboo and silk had a very low maintenance baby. Buttery soft and unbelievably easy to care for. The third reason is functionality. The wraps are lightweight, water wicking, saving lots of space and limited treatment room storage, and reducing laundry loads with a drying time of approximately under 6 minutes. Use them in your treatments and chances are clients will want to take one home, providing a profitable boost in retail sales. Visit spastar.net for more details and be sure to check out the footer of the website at spastar.net for wholesale applications. Okay, what just happened to you?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. If that wasn't perfect timing. A knock on my door. A client, one of my sweet, sweet clients. Also, we have to give her a break. She's 5 months pregnant. But her appointment is this exact time, this exact day, but next week. So
That's one of the things I love about online booking, because before my clients would insist that I had scheduled them wrong. And now you can kind of go in and see. And I felt bad. I'm like, gosh, you can take her now or tell her to come back in 20 minutes. But she's coming back next week.
she's coming back next week. And sometimes, this is something I learned a long time ago because in the moment, even though you're thinking, oh, okay, let's pause. Maybe she should take this client. I learned a long time ago, even just now in my brain, I was like, okay, I actually should I stop what I'm doing right now? But my mindset, I wouldn't be giving her
Oh, yeah.
just going into it. I wouldn't be fully present, and I adore her as a client. She comes and sees me once a month. She would feel that my everything was off, and so in that moment, while I was thinking what you were thinking, I just decided, I checked my phone. Her appointment's next week. When she shows up next week, she won't know that she was interrupting this. I won't feel
Yeah.
interrupted. It'll be so much better. So, little break in our little podcast today, but these things happen.
I also think when women are pregnant, now I've never had children, but I think when they're pregnant, they're way more intuitive and sensitive. So you're right. She would have picked up off vibes on her end and yours.
Yeah, and when you know your clients, you know your clients. She comes here, she's pregnant, but she's gonna have two under two. She has a toddler. And so when she's here, she just wants to melt.
Yeah.
And so I'll give her the best facial ever next week when her appointment is.
Awesome. All right. Well, oh my gosh, if you didn't have cancellations, she would have showed up in the middle of your facial anyway. So wasn't
Exactly.
meant to be today.
Nope.
Wasn't meant to be. Um, I was just kind of rambling when you went to get your door. I thought it was a UPS man, but I was saying we were out on a walk and talk, and we got into. I mean, some people may say deep, heavy conversation, but I think we always keep it lighthearted and fun. And we started talking about like what's happening in this industry right now. And you actually said, I said, I'm really worried about the industry. And then your comment was funny. You're like, are we on the same page all the time?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Most people would say that our conversations are deep, but, and I said this to you, I think, on another walk and talk, but that they can be, but it's also just that we're both very intuitive, we trust each other, and I know that whatever I say will just be, you'll hold space for it and respond in a way that is really understandable for me. So yeah, I do think that they're deep but necessary because we are in this industry. And when somebody like you, who all these listeners have been listening to for years and years and years, and you've been a pivotal part of the industry, says something like, I am worried about the industry, it does take a big, it takes a big weight off my shoulders because then here I am in my first 6 years. And for me, being staying up at night, being like, there are things changing. If I'm feeling it, others must be feeling it. And then to know that you're feeling it, then it just, the stars have aligned perfectly and to where we can talk about it and other people know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So really that's why we're here today. We both have been feeling the same thing and we chatted about it. And you said, we should probably discuss this because if we're feeling it, almost everybody else probably is too.
Mhm.
Because there's such a big gap in 23 years and 5 years and everything in between. But all right, so let's talk about industry vibes. I guess we could start there. And again, sometimes I hesitate to share these things. There's certain things I don't love to share publicly. One is the skincare lines that I use because it creates all kinds of things. We'll talk about that later. But the second is I don't want to offend anybody by saying anything. So these are observations. Not every single person is going to fall into a category that we're talking about, but observations and things that should make everyone stop and pause and know we're not coming at anybody or saying anything to make anyone feel less than unworthy or like they're doomed, their future is doomed. But I do
Yeah.
think this has been a weird shift and it's just an odd summer for so many. As I was saying, my books haven't been this slow in a long time. Um, what about you? You said yesterday, you go, well, gosh, last year at this time I had very different numbers.
Yeah. Last year at this time, it was just, I was crazy busy. When you look at the numbers, it looks on paper like I'm so far behind what I was last year, but I was also working 6 days a week, seeing 10 to 12 clients a day. And we were discussing how this started by just saying, you feel like my energy is shifted. And that really did put a lot into perspective for me because you were right. This time last year, it was my first summer in business. I was I was working a lot. I was working like 50-hour weeks. I was touching more faces. I think I was scrolling through my archives on Instagram, and I think one day I posted a story that I had done like 42 facials in 1 week. And I don't even know how that math works out, but this summer, I was telling Lori, I got to the point last around the holidays where I started just slightly not loving doing facials by the end of the week. By the end, I was like, I'm tired. I wasn't giving my 100% to those clients at the end of the week. And it was something I caught immediately. And so this time around, this summer, I am doing less numbers. I am not as busy, but it's because I'm not showing up the way that I was showing up last year. And it just made me, when Lori and I were talking about it, put a lot into perspective for me. And I did, right after we talked about that, listen to something on TikTok that just said, if you want to be extraordinarily successful, you have to work extraordinarily hard. And it really did put a lot into perspective for me when we were discussing just energy shifts in the treatment room. And our treatment room vibes right now are, just mine at least, a little down, but you got to crawl. I'm crawling right back up. You got to just do it.
Well, I think the book that I gave you guys at the last live, one of the most powerful takeaways from that book for me was how this intelligent, highly intelligent woman, I'm having lunch with her next week, I can't wait. She talked about cycles, and everything in life is a cycle. And if you can look at your business almost like a cycle in nature, sometimes things bloom, sometimes things, you have to pull the weeds around them, right? Everything is a cycle. So my summer's been a little, probably the slowest I've been since I started, but I don't freak out at all because I know what I need to do when I get slow. You text me or I text you on Saturday and I go, I'm actually at the spa doing facials right now. And you're like, in capital letters back, what? Yeah. So I will go in and work more. And I will actually always say that I will bend without breaking when I need to in my business. And this is funny though, because this was before I started my new mindset technique. So I went in Saturday. I haven't worked a Saturday in years. But I text every VIP client I ever had that can't get into me anymore since I stopped working on Saturdays. And I said, I am going to work this Saturday if you'd like to come in. And people were so grateful. A lot of them are like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm out of town, I can't, but thank you for this text. So it's proof our clients like to hear from us. A client came in and she said, oh my gosh, I also need to buy about $1,000 worth of products for another client that I'm going to see that's seasonal for me. So one of my appointments was like $2,000 appointment. But here's the funny thing, because I had been in this mindset of I'm slow, didn't stress out about it, but I kept saying it. Because I had been in that mindset, she went to pay me and my stupid system wouldn't take her credit card. So she owes me like $2,000 and I can't even receive money because of a weird block that I had going on. And I came home and I said to Jay, oh my God, I go in on a day off and I can't even take money from people that I'm working for.
Yeah,
but, you know, it went to what you said earlier. You got the payment from them and like the no-show, and then you're going to see them again. So you made more money. Well, when I was trying to check her out, we thought it went through, but it didn't give me any place for her to put a tip. So she goes, how come I didn't get to tip you? I said, oh, don't worry about it. You'll get it next time.
Yeah.
Or she said, I'll get it next time. So I sent her the invoice and she added this huge tip on there. So even though I didn't get the money right away, I didn't stress out, I didn't freak out, but I got more money in return. So, you know, when I'm slow, I want to talk about this because it really is how you show up. And we started the show this way. So that was one thing. I'll bend without breaking. I'll go in on a day off. I'll go in early. I'll stay later. I have been heavy on email marketing to my clients. And I don't mean I'm bugging you. I'm sending very intentional emails out, but then I'm connecting just one-on-one with people that I know appreciate that. I taught an email marketing accelerator inside the Beauty Biz Club. Anyone can join. This is in our archive library. Anyone can join and take this. It was like 10-minute, 20-minute sessions once a week to get you set up for a 6-month email marketing plan. And people dove into it and clients are starting to flow in like crazy. So it's these simple techniques that work, and it's connection and communication consistently with your clients. But also what I did is I sat down and I ran my numbers and I go, oh my gosh, how can I make this feel positive in my life? My numbers are above where they were last year. And it's because of all the work I did, bringing a new skincare line in, redoing my menu. Again, all things we teach inside the Beauty Biz Club. So I'm making double per hour what I was last year at this time.
Going back to the basics.
Yeah, back to the basics of, and sometimes it is re-energizing you, which I feel like you need right now. And your dad asked you a great question that we'll talk about later. Re-energizing. And that is a time to invest in your business, not chase the bright, shiny objects all the time, but A, when can you afford it? And B, when do you need to re-energize? Because that'll bring you cash flow. Also, The marketing accelerator. Oh, I'm speaking at the Sorella Summit, and I have decided to do this really fun thing with my speech. And it's going to be a surprise for everyone. But I go, well, this time you're being gifted. Not only do I have that speech, I'm doing the live event in October. I have 5 PowerPoint presentations that I have to complete within the next month. So just sit in your casita, Lori, and love what you get to create. And that's where I'm at now. That's what I do when I'm slow. It's all about productivity and what can I get done. So tell me what you do when you're slow on a day like today or this summer when you haven't felt so energized.
Yeah. So I'm going back to my basics, and it's funny because when you mentioned to me on our walk and talk that it was an energy shift, it really did make me start thinking, right? And so today I woke up and saw that I had no clients all afternoon. And I thought, what can I do? And right now in Bozeman, it's the biggest week in the entire summer. It is absolutely insane. It's Sweet Pea and Slam Fest, and they both happen at the same time, and Midlands Festival in Big Sky. So we have 3 massive events going on this week, and every single day leading up to Friday and Saturday, there's something going on downtown. So today is Chalk the Walk downtown. And for those of you listening, I have a little suite right on Main Street in my town. So today is something called Chalk the Walk, and it's for any person. Bring your kids downtown, and every single local business. I have a little bucket out front, has chalk in it. And by the end of the day today, our entire town there will not be a smidge of sidewalk that doesn't have color all over it. So today I got up a little early, knew I wasn't going to have clients all afternoon. I'm going back to my basics. I went to Staples, printed out some cute little thing I made on Canva, and I'm gonna walk all over town today, chalking up the walk. And just anytime I see a mom with her kid on the street, I'm handing her one. And I'm just gonna get out there and I'm gonna just walk around and hand out these little facial cards and just essentially introduce myself to people like you did in Home Goods. And I was doing a lot of this last summer, and I haven't done much of it this summer. And today is going to be a really good opportunity for me to do that. This is kind of one of those things that Lori and I have discussed multiple times, but I really lean on my community events, free events, things going on to it's like going to a fish hatchery and fishing, like almost like that concept. Like I know there's going to be people down here, and so I'm going to be down there. And so all afternoon I'm going to get myself an iced coffee, walk around, and just introduce myself. And yeah, it's going to be fun.
And this is woo woo, but it goes back to this stuff really works. You shifted your energy this morning, and now your clients are showing up a week early.
Yeah.
For
And
facials.
this also brings us back to the manifestation topic.
So I want to ask you, can you have a sandwich board outside of your place? Like a chalkboard that you draw on?
Yes, I can have one. I don't have one only because I did have one. It's in the closet over there, but it was enticing a lot of walk-in behavior, and I'm by appointment only. And so last summer when I had my sandwich board out, I would be getting a facial, and I'd probably have 3 or 4 people knocking on the door thinking it's a skincare studio. They can shop, walk around. So I pulled the sign.
Okay, I have a solution because I'm a Virgo solution girl. First of all, I love it. I saw this in Vegas. It said a new kind of happy hour, book a 1-hour facial, but you could put by appointment only. But then also, do you have an outdoor like rack card holder? They make them for outdoors. Maybe you could put that on the outside of your door and put by appointment only. Shh, I'm with a client if the door is closed.
Yeah. I have one.
Put it out when you're sitting up there for an hour and you don't have anyone.
Yeah, I just did that actually. Is I went on Amazon. I bought this little rack card holder, and because I already had one right outside of my door in my hallway, but I bought like a waterproof one that's now in the brick down on the street, and I have my thing in there for people to just read. And then on the door under my sign is how to book, what my number is, by appointment only. I just recently, in the last few weeks, put my rack cards out on the street. So
I guess a QR code is kind of the way people do it now too. When I owned my spa in LA, there was not such a thing as QR code, but I loved the little outdoor rack card.
mhm.
So let's talk about what you've learned this summer with, I think we've been sharing that, but if you could wrap up like your energy cycles, what are you
Yeah.
learning right now about your business and about you?
Yeah. So going back just to what we touched on in the beginning of this episode was that I am manifesting a lot of big things, and Lori encouraged me to share a couple of those, and it just kind of leans into what I am learning as who I am as an esthetician, who I am as a business owner, as a mentor, and what I strive to be. But I have really been digging deep, manifesting. I manifested a big ticket day a few weeks ago. An unexpected client flew in on her private jet and wanted facials, even though I wasn't even open that day. I had other things I was supposed to do. That's the fun of working with Lori, is if I have an obligation and facials come first, facials always come first. So I manifested that, a really big ticket day. And that just taught me that, sometimes when you don't go looking for it, it comes to you anyways. And then I manifested something big I'm doing right now is I manifested a place to live. I live in a fast growing town, and I know anywhere right now it's tough for people in their 20s to buy homes. It's actually just kind of completely out of reach, it seems. And I manifested a really cool opportunity with somebody that I don't know very well, but I'm going to be a homeowner. So I'm working out the details, and it kind of fell into my lap. And I feel like that also just made me shift my energy, not only in my personal life, but also in my esthetician life, because it reminded me that there's still really good people out there, and that um, really it just made me remember that I got to really focus in right now on my BCE, and that the people that are coming and spending their money here, even though I'm slow, need the most attention. I need to really dial in and just remember that those are my people, those are my best clients ever. And it's also just been teaching me that those are my people. So even if you're slow, even if you have two clients, I'm really realizing this summer, you know, even if this time last year I had a $25,000 month, it doesn't matter. We're always going to have these shifts as estheticians, and that those people, those core people, your BCEs, you just can't forget about them. That's something I'm learning right now. Like, you just cannot ever take those clients for granted. So few things are going on right now that's shifting my energy, and they're all really good. And I needed it, and I just felt like the universe threw it at me. So
Did you get to see the house yesterday?
I got to see the house. It's so cute,
Good.
and um, it's gonna just be, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for the opportunity to do something as big as that, because it's hard to do now. So
Everybody deserves a home that makes them feel comfortable. And that I really learned through COVID. Like if I sell this house ever, it's going to be hard to walk out of here because it was just such a sanctuary for Jay and I during a crazy time in our lives, right?
mhm.
I'll tell you what I learned, and it's just this constant reminder we have to bend without breaking. We have to bend without breaking. And I think this is finally going to help us segue into why we're worried about the industry. We went off on a tangent and didn't even talk about why we're worried about the industry. So I think bringing it back there, my quote kind of segues into it. This all really started for me worrying about our industry. about 2 or 3 months ago, it's when, and I'm sorry if you can hear my neighbor's gardener's here and he's blowing all the dust that we live in around. But it started when Jay and I went to the grocery store in the afternoon and we got stuck when high school was letting out. And I don't have children, but we had to sit when everyone was getting out of school on a Friday and watch these kids. And I remember when I got out of school on a Friday, I was with my friends talking about what we were going to do on the weekend. It was like freedom, we're out of school for the weekend, and everyone seemed energized. And I probably watched 200 kids walk out of this high school. First of all, they all were walking by themselves. Nobody was talking. I said to Jade, "Are you noticing anything?" And he's like, "What?" And I said, "These kids look like zombies. They aren't even talking to each other. They were all dressed in their pajamas. I couldn't wait to dress up and go to school." And then, of course, being an esthetician for 23 years and being totally in love with what I get to do for work, I thought, not one of these kids is ever going to want a facial. What's going to happen to our career as estheticians? If they're not engaging with each other, they're not energizing, they're dressed in their pajamas and haven't combed their hair in a while, are they ever going to care enough about like their skin or pampering themselves enough to get a facial? And it freaked me out for days. And that's kind of what we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
What is your age demographic of your client?
My age demographic is 40 to 60s.
So,
And it is what we were discussing as well on our walk. And I have a few points regarding this that I want to touch on because we were talking a little bit about catering to the people that you know are gonna come in, you know can afford your treatments, you know are gonna buy products, right? So when I think about my BCE, I don't think about anybody my age or younger. I think about women who, I literally built this person in my brain and I know who they are and that's who I cater to. But I will say that I have had this weird influx of my clients recently booking their like teenage daughters a facial. And I thought about it after we were talking, and it did make me think that I wonder if because we're in this time and in space where you can look at your phone and get any information you want, you can probably ask AI, this is my skin type, tell me every product that I should use. You can get information anywhere, and I think it is going to be something that we're going to have to lean on our clients who might be mothers, or lean on the people who we've been treating for a long time, starting to shift, right? Do you have any friends with daughters in college? I would love to send them with a little something, or reminding them of, you know, how awesome it is to go pamper yourself or to go get a treatment. Or I had a client today say, my one client today is telling me she tried doing a lash lift and tint on herself, that a kit that she got on Amazon. And I was just like, why? Like, I asked her how much it cost, and she said 50 something dollars. I'm like, that's like, you could have a professional do it for just as much, and you're not risking, there's lots of risks. And it is an interesting time, but that just means that we're going to have to pivot. We're talking about really how the industry is really changing right now, and what it would be like to be, some of our emerging estheticians, people
yeah,
going to school, people coming out of school, what it is like right now trying to build a brand new clientele, especially if you are an esthetician who's 19, 20, 21, trying to lean on your friends, it just might not work.
yeah. I think, well, I will tell you going back to, and then I want to talk about estheticians and what I'm seeing as this as a career choice. But one of the most powerful lessons I learned was right when I became an esthetician. And I was really impacted by this week. I was a celebrity esthetician in LA, and I never ever talk about really the level of that type of clientele that I had. It was pretty amazing. But one of my first celebrity families was the Osbournes, and I was going to their house, and I would go over there, and this was on the show. And Sharon Osbourne taught me a lot about business. But one of the things was she, and they said this publicly on TV, is the only reason I'm talking about it. She was dealing with cancer at the time. And when I would get there, she'd be so depleted. Sometimes they would have to help her get on my massage bed. She had zero energy. And I was doing facials and tanning before there was even spray tanning. But after I gave her first facial ever, and then she had me coming every single week because there was something so powerful in human touch. When I was done with her facial, she would get up, put her hair in a towel, and just start being Sharon, bossing everyone around, spicy lady.
Yes.
So I think like the power of touch, I'm so happy massaging is coming back to the facial world because we can literally energize people and make them not only look better, but feel better. And I hope we don't lose that. I hope we don't lose the insight or the knowing that our hands are like magic wands and powerful, amazing tools that are really helping people. So, but that has to get, and I see this, let's step now a little bit into estheticians. So we have emerging estheticians. There's over 200 people in the group. And I see so very little engagement. And it really makes me sad. And I'm wondering, I don't know this because I'm always a very vocal, curious person. If I had a group like that when I first started, I would have been annoying because I would have been in there every day asking questions. I'm in there helping people. You are in there so generous with information. Our operations manager in there, Casey, is teaching social media for free. She has a master's degree in communication and heavy studies in social media and what's working right now with communications and connection. And it's like crickets most days in there. And it's honestly driving me crazy because being around the Beauty Biz block for so long, so many times, and falling in love with my career, for the life of me, I cannot figure out why these people are not in there asking questions, because mentorship is so much more powerful than AI. It is.
Yeah, it is. It is shocking, actually, because, and really the only thing I have to compare it to is that I've been lucky enough to be inside the Beauty Biz Club since I was in school, and just how abundant the conversations were. There'd be threads 30 comments long where Lori wasn't even in it. It's just the estheticians helping the estheticians and supporting each other and talking like, oh, you do that, I do this. And so it has been a big wake up call that, and this is what led Lori and I to just being raw and real and discussing, the future and the direction that we want to take emerging esthetician in, but also made me think, what will get these people talking? Do they really have everything at the tips of their fingers that they feel that they don't, that there isn't much substance in this in the group? Or is it just that they're nervous to speak out? It's really navigating newness right now, this new generation of, and a lot of them are very young, right? A lot of these girls were in high school during COVID and had no human connection during this really important time in their life. So it does make me think, is it just that they're listening, they're watching, but aren't, engaging? And it's definitely got Lori and I, thinking.
Social media is kind of a mean place.
Horrible.
I want people to know that in the emerging esthetician free community, membership community, if you're paying to be part of it, there is no silly question and nobody's ever going to make you feel less than. We are totally there to help you. But I also want any esthetician who's struggling to fill their books, know if you're having a hard time finding support and communicating with another human being, you're gonna have a really hard time attracting clients. You are. Like, that's a skill set you have to work on. And I think somebody, if you can find a mentor, if you're part of the Beauty Biz Club, get in there and ask for support. If you are in the emerging esthetician, we have to increase human engagement if we want this career to survive. We do.
Yeah. And again, and Lori and I have said it before, it doesn't have to be a question. It can be, this week was really, really crappy. This week was crap and it was really hard and I don't really know what I can do. Can anybody in this group just give me a little bit of a pep talk, a little bit of support? It could be the smallest win, the biggest disappointment. It doesn't have to be a question. It's just the fact of being there for one another and showing up and utilizing something that's really special and something that there isn't much of, you know. So I think that it doesn't have to be this big thing. It could just be, you know, like what Lori and I do on our walk and talks. We just dish out anything that we're feeling.
Yes. Like, find your community and engage with it. And that's going to make you more confident everywhere. And it doesn't have to be I had a crappy week. You can also come in and go, I had a win. I got a new client. That's amazing. Because I do feel there has to be a positive and negative balance.
Always.
And I remember my sister, who is extremely successful. So funny, when you found out who she was, I remember we were at dinner and you banged your head on the back of the restaurant wall. You're like, no way, that's your sister.
Yeah, I'm fully obsessed with her.
So when she first started becoming successful, she would call me and go, I can't tell anybody else what I just made for money except for you, because we judge each other. You need a place to celebrate your wins and for people not to think that you're bragging, because you're not. If you're working for it, you deserve to find somebody to celebrate that with. So if you're in the Beauty Biz Club, if you're an emerging esthetician, this is probably more for emerging estheticians. Join the free community. If you're in the free community, start to think of questions that you can ask and engage and get this support from people who really care about your success.
And chances are the questions that you ask might already be answered in the membership, you know. So we're, you know, I'm trying to be there, you know, and it is fun actually share your wins too. Even if you have a day that you make $400 or $500, that's a huge day. That's more than what a lot of people you see working at a lot of different places are making in a single day. So just sharing and supporting, and Lori and I are genuinely feel that it is going to be the one thing that sets this profession and being an esthetician apart from the rest. Because you hear it all the time, being in personal services can sometimes be lonely, but it doesn't have to be.
Oh yeah. And the last person you should tell about your problems, whether they're business or personal problems, that would be your clients, just FYI.
Yeah, FYI, PSA, don't ever do it.
So we have industry predictions in our notes. And number one was, we touched on, will people want facials? I think we're going to have to work to keep human engagement up. We're going to have to really remember how powerful human touch is, how healing it is. Finding the right clients. Wealthy is okay. It's okay to want wealthy clients. I had one coaching client that all she wanted to do was give back. That was her whole goal. But I want people to afford me. I want people to afford me. I said, listen, if you can't afford your business, you can't keep the doors open. So what I recommend is find the clients that can afford you. And then you can do all the charity work you want. I've done a ton of charity work. I was on a show on the Style Network, probably before you were born, that was only to give back to people coming out of really hard situations. And they would come into my spa, do a facial, they would get their hair done across the hall. We would show them how to interview, and they would go out and find jobs when they were coming out of drug and alcohol addiction facilities or homeless shelters. And I gave back. That was my time. And what I got back from doing that was tenfold. And then But if you're going to have that clientele, this is something else. It's back to these kids leaving school in pajamas.
Yep.
I'm going to be a straight shooter. If you're not showing up looking the part, you're gonna have a hard time building a clientele. There's a level of professionalism that you have got to embrace. And I'm not saying you have to go shop at Louis Vuitton for a uniform, but my goodness, make yourself look like you care about your business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's becoming quite out of hand. And this is like we don't mean scrubs, right? Or a uniform. And Lori's done a whole training in the Beauty Biz Club, or discussion all about uniform, like showing up as as who you want to be perceived as. And sometimes that's, wearing a pair of black scrubs. For me, I wore scrubs for years working in a plastic surgeon's office, and I jumped across the whole house when I didn't ever have to wear scrubs again because I was starting my own business. But you'll never, mark my words, never see me in my studio wearing a pair of leggings or sweatpants or a hoodie or oversized t-shirt. Just the level of care has to be there,
Yeah.
especially for catering to, the wealthy people in your community.
This is my Virgo self, before I started wearing a uniform, I would on Sundays write out what I was going to wear to work every single day because I was working 5 days a week, like 12 hours a day. And I wanted to look professional, but then I had to worry about not ruining my clothes because I was doing a ton of waxing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would map it out. I'd map out my clothes every Sunday. I'm going to wear this on Monday, this right down to my shoes, socks, everything. And I know that's a little extreme, but that's how I operate best with my weird systems. And then when I met Noelle Asmar, and her uniforms are so beautiful, and you can throw them in the wash machine and throw them in the dryer and you still look fancy. I'm like, okay, I'm embracing this. So I did the opposite. Now I love wearing a uniform. And it was
Mm-hmm.
weird though for my clients when I switched from wearing like trendy, cute, professional clothes to a uniform.
Yeah.
They all were weirded out. But listen, everybody adapted and all is fine. Everybody
Yep.
adapted and all is
Yep.
fine.
I had one more thing, and that is that exactly what Lori and I are saying. It's like hashtag ditch the device. It's okay to not use any devices in your treatment room right now. It's
What do
when
you
we're
mean by
talking
device? Are you talking about like phones and that type of device, or like tiny
like
tools?
facial devices, when we're talking about getting people in and how we're going to have to work extra hard right now to get people to come get facials? It's gonna be, when you talk about these magic wands, our hands, it really is, you just ditch the devices. If they're overwhelming, if you can't afford one, it doesn't matter because you got the best thing going on, right? There, it's your hands. And I
Yeah.
fear all these estheticians, want these devices right out of school, and they're just, they're not all that they're cracked out to be, especially in the beginning of your career.
I got a coaching application yesterday, somebody that wants a coaching session, and she's been an esthetician. I'm going to make this up, but I'm giving you averages just to protect people, like their privacy and their trust in me for being a coach. But like just under 10 years, she has like 25 different machines, and her revenue is about $20,000 a year. So it's not always, it's really, it's your marketing as much as your methods and your machines. So I'm going to add that in. It's your marketing as much as your methods and your machines. And believing in yourself. So you're right. Your hands, that's how I started in the beginning 23 years ago, and how I started over when I moved here. I sold everything. So I didn't even have any machines except for my microcurrent, and nobody knew what it was. So nobody was investing in it. But, another thing is, I'm sick of this, and maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm a weirdo, but I love to work. I always have. Jay has said to me since he met me, don't ever worry about competition, Lori, because nobody will ever outwork you. But I don't look at it as work. I love what I get to do. And when I don't get to do it, I can't wait to get back in the treatment room. So I think there's been this weird trend, and you tell me at your age, if you're seeing it, like you're supposed to have slow mornings, and you're supposed to not stress yourself out. And I'm going to say the opposite. Why don't you build something you love so you can't wait to do it?
Yeah. I mean, I will say that I think that you're really onto something there, and that there is this, and it's really interesting because there is this this cloud of, just this space for, right, take care of your mental health first. If you can only work 2 days a week, then do it. You'll always make more money. You'll never have time in your 20s again. Like, just things that are almost like pro lazy. I don't know if that's like a mean thing to say, but I was talking to my dad about this too, and he was telling me that in the early days of building Schedulicity, the people that he would meet at these trade shows were like fanatics, like literally would see clients all night long if they could, and just couldn't get enough of it. And being somebody who is, consumed, right, by everything that's going on in our world, and um that just kind of space where you feel like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna not go until noon today because I need to, read my book and drink my coffee. And I want to preface this with, I'm not saying like a mental health day is wrong. Everybody needs time. Everybody needs to take a break and focus on themselves. But I think what Lori and I are getting at is that coming from a 28-year-old esthetician, or a 6-year, licensed esthetician, and a 23-year long licensed esthetician, it's a different, we're seeing things in such a different light than they may have been, and now they are, and it's just a shift in our industry and in estheticians. And it's going to be an interesting one to move through because you can't want everything and do nothing.
Yeah.
So
And the whole mental health thing, listen, I think we've all struggled with some form of mental health. I had disabling anxiety attacks after September 11th and had to go to
mhm.
therapy. I get it. I get it. But what helped me heal was the beauty industry and creating something I loved. And that didn't come without hard work at all. So I think healing comes with doing the things that make you feel happy, and doing the things that make you feel productive and alive, and doing more of those instead of listening to these people say, have a slow morning every morning of your life. That's it. That's it. This is not to discredit any mental health stuff at all. I think we've all had that feeling, and we've all, had to deal with those challenges. So
I
with
think
that
it's really, yeah, for me, just I think we're wrapping it up here, but to end on like a really light and positive note, I wanted to say that for somebody who's maybe in my shoes, where we're new in this industry, we have big goals. I think that it's harder for us to achieve those goals, which just means that we have to work really hard for them. I, you know, if we can freaking do it, like it's you just hopefully this podcast, Lori and I were like, we need to, we just need to hash out some stuff. We need to get in there. I think that it's just Lori and I motivate each other. I am motivated by Lori. She's the one who will get me out of bed in the morning when I don't feel like doing it. And so I hope that if you're listening and you're like, maybe my energy has been down lately. Maybe I'm not as busy. Maybe I'm just not showing up. Hopefully, I hope that listening to this episode maybe just gives you that little bit of push.
Yeah. And knowing that it's possible. And yes, you motivate me and inspire me too. I said to Lauren yesterday, if you ever give up your skincare studio, I'm going to move to Bozeman and take it over.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, and that's another thing too, like gratitude. Count your blessings. Even the little tiny things will motivate you to do be and have more. The whole reason that I was excited to talk about this today is because of the beautiful life being an esthetician has gifted me. And it's out there for people, but we can't get lazy in wanting this career and the industry as a whole to be successful. We didn't even have time today to talk about what just happened in Montana. You guys some law passed where you don't even have to go to school anymore. You just have to find a mentor, or what is it, an internship or something?
Yeah, like you can get your esthetician's license now in the state of Montana through like a 500-hour apprenticeship. No school, no boards, no written exam, no nothing.
And you also said the schools are really slowing down right now. You talked to a school owner or teacher or something, and they said their attendance or sign up for the career is really low.
And so, but there's still every single day, there's still people in my DMs on Instagram saying, I'm thinking of becoming an esthetician. Is it a lucrative career for you? And I'm like, lucrative? I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life, and I'm making more money than people my parents' age sometimes. Like, we're gonna have our ebbs and flows, but if you want it, it's literally at the palm of it's literally waiting for you. So
you got to work for it, but it's fun. Yep. It's fun if you do it the right way. And I think that's where you and I come in. We can help estheticians have fun with their career, really.
Mm-hmm. And we want to so desperately. Yes. We want to help you.
Let us help you, please.
Please.
All right. Well, as you can see, it's getting dark in my casita. We chatted a little longer than I expected today, as usual. But I'm going to let you go enjoy your afternoon off. I have to call some of my clients back that want to get on the book this week. And again, we hope we didn't say anything to offend people. It just really is maybe for some people a new awareness. Some people check like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get it together. And a reminder, this is a profession. And you have to work hard. Solo practitioners, small business owners, you are a business owner. You have to do the business things, not just touch faces. So let's all get it together.
Yep. And I guess, Lori, that's why we're calling these episodes Unfiltered, because we're going to give it to you straight, people.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed being part of Lauren and I's walk and talk, and we'll be back at you. If there's anything you want us to cover, go into the Facebook group, the Beauty Biz Show podcast with Lori Crete. I post the episodes in there, and I welcome all the comments underneath them. And then you can either DM me, Lori_BeautyBiz, or Lauren at Emerging Esthetician, and let us know what you want us to cover or talk about. As a matter of fact, yesterday, it's funny, this esthetician, she's my age, and she's been in the Beauty Biz Club for years. She placed this huge Spa Star wrap order.
I got another knock at my door.
Oh my God, somebody else is at your door. Okay, I'm going to just hit yours, pause for a second, and I'll finish telling this story, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, I don't know how, but I'm going to.
Okay, so yesterday she called, and she's like, I was talking about how I'm worried about this industry with her, and she goes, please bring me on the podcast with yourself and Lauren, because I'm feeling the same way, Lori. I keep trying to hire people. So you have somebody there for a facial?
Somebody here who was picking up products for her sister that I set out in the hallway that I forgot about. So.
All right, well, let's wrap it up today. You got to go make some money. I mean, the universe is literally sending people to knock on your door. So go get at it.
That was wild. Okay. I love all of you guys. Thank you for having me. Can't wait for the next one.
All right. Bye, Lauren. Thanks for tuning in to the Beauty Biz Show. I hope the episode has left you feeling inspired to build the beauty biz of your dreams. As always, we appreciate your kind reviews, as it helps us attract amazing guests to be interviewed. Also, be sure to give me a follow on Instagram at Lori_BeautyBiz and SpaStar_Lux. If you'd like to know more about how we can work together, visit beautybizclub.com, where we are busy helping estheticians create outrageously abundant careers.